All bird keepers, from poultry farmers to families with a few chickens, have been ordered to house their animals for a month to protect the UK from a virulent outbreak of avian flu on mainland Europe. The government's chief vet, Nigel Gibbons, has declared a prevention zone for England that requires commercial and individual bird keepers to keep their birds inside for 30 days or take steps to separate them from wild birds. The order, which was texted to poultry farmers on Tuesday, comes after a type of highly pathogenic avian flu, H5N8, was found in dead wild birds and some farm birds across Europe. The risk that we are trying to prevent is to our British poultry flock, to make sure these birds are protected against disease, Gibbons told BBC Radio 4's Today programme. He added, everybody should do what they can. Pet bird keepers should do their best and take sensible measures to separate them from wild birds, while looking after their welfare. I don't want people putting them in a box in the dark and keeping them there for weeks on end. Similar restrictions have been imposed in France after the detection of bird flu in farms in the southwest of the country and in wild ducks in the north. The Food Standards Agency said bird flu does not pose a food safety risk for UK consumers. A spokeswoman added, on the basis of current scientific evidence, our advice is that bird flu does not pose a food safety risk for UK consumers. The risk of getting bird flu through the food chain is very low. Some strains of avian influenza can pass to humans, but this is very rare. It usually requires close contact between the human and infected live birds. Properly cooked chicken and turkey and poultry products, including eggs, are safe to eat. The H5N8 strain of bird flu has not been detected on British farms. Gibbons said that if it was, all the birds in the infected flock would have to be slaughtered under disease control requirements. Gibbons also urged farmers to take extra measures such as disinfecting clothing and equipment and making sure feed and water was not accessible to wild birds, to prevent infection. He said, I ought to emphasize that this disease does get into house birds. So the other important thing for farmers to do is increase and maintain their biosecurity so disease isn't carried into houses where birds are housed. Public Health England, FE, said the threat to humans from the bird flu strain remained very low. Gibbons said the 30-day order may have to be extended. He said, we will see how this threat of disease develops during the year. Migration has not yet quite finished. It is possible that disease may circulate in our domestic wild birds as well. We will keep this under review, look at whether it is being effective, look at how well it is being complied with and then take a considered view after 30 days. The Department for Environment, Food and Rural Affairs, DEFRA, said it had increased its surveillance for the disease. In a statement, Gibbons added, while no cases have been found in the UK, and FE advises the public health threat is low, we are closely monitoring the situation across Europe and have scaled up surveillance in response to the heightened risk. Poultry keepers are being advised to be vigilant for signs of bird flu and to call their vet promptly if they have any concerns. Members of the public are being asked to report cases of dead wild waterfowl such as swans, geese, ducks and gulls, or 5 or more dead birds of other species to DEFRA. Mark Orton, director of a free-range turkey and chicken producer in Norfolk, said the order to keep birds inside was sensible, and it was fortunate the situation had not occurred earlier in the run-up to Christmas. Most of the Christmas turkeys are done, he said. They're safely packed and in the cold stores, ready for Christmas dinners. It could have been worse if it happened 2 or 3 weeks ago, and in this sense Christmas dinner is still safe. Gorton's business, Traditional Norfolk Poultry, has between 500,000 and 1 million birds at this time of year at small farms across East Anglia. He said the free-range birds had houses they could shelter in, and they would be kept in these full-time until the order was lifted. This posed no welfare issues for the birds, and the houses were very light and airy, with lots of windows, said Gorton. Avian flu, a brief guide. What is it? Avian influenza, also known as bird flu, is a contagious viral disease in animals caused by a virus loosely related to human influenza. Some strains of the disease have been passed to humans, but this is very rare, and usually only occurs after very close contact with infected birds or animals. While all bird species and, less commonly, pigs are thought to be susceptible, domestic poultry flocks are especially vulnerable to infection. Outbreaks can rapidly result in epidemics among bird populations. How does it spread? World Health Organization scientists believe it is likely the virus is carried by migrating birds. Others, such as the Royal Society for the Protection of Birds and BirdLife International, argue there is strong evidence to suggest the poultry trade plays a large role in the spread of bird flu. The H5N8 strain has not been detected on British farms. Gibbons said if it were, all the birds in the infected flock would have to be slaughtered under disease control requirements. Is my food safe? The Food Standards Agency said, on the basis of current scientific evidence, our advice is that bird flu does not pose a food safety risk for UK consumers. The risk of getting bird flu through the food chain is very low. Some strains of avian influenza can pass to humans, but this is very rare. Properly cooked chicken and turkey and poultry